Could you tell us the program today and what you're going to speak on?
Well, I teach on disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation. And you know, the communication becomes very, very important, and there the role of journalists become extremely important, because many times we, the so-called academicians or the researchers, we do lots of research, but I think you are the people, like the journalists are the people, you can translate that research for easy to understand way for the common people to understand it. And that's why this role of communication, we call the disaster risk communication, becomes extremely, extremely important. So today we will be discussing on that. Especially, I will be talking a little bit on the global perspective, then what we do in Japan, and then we will come more specifically for India, more specifically for Darjeeling, especially on the landslide risk communication.
When you talk about communication, it is seen like when the crisis is there, the communication, there is a vast problem in communication because the towers are off. So is there any way like you feel that?
Very important point you have told, and that is precisely the reason we need some communication before the disaster hits. So we need some preparedness, because during the disasters, as you rightly pointed out, we don't have electricity, we don't have possibly telecommunication system many times. So, but if we can make a proper drill or practice before the disasters, then we know possibly what are the places which are more dangerous or what are the safe places, where to evacuate. So these are the things actually we need to do before the disaster. So the role of journalists becomes very important to aware people that what they need to do before a disaster.
Do you think that it will be more like easier like if the local are also involved, the local of the place where like the disaster can take place?
Again, a very important point you have raised. You know, the local people, they are living in that area for ages, so they know really the local information. The scientist, then the government agency, like the State Disaster Management Agency, SDMA, or the District Disaster Management Agency, DDMA. So they give some information from the government side. But it is the local people who are required to actually translate that knowledge. And you know that we often use this term called indigenous knowledge, the local knowledge or the indigenous knowledge. And these are all with the local people who understand the local condition, the mountain condition, the rainfall condition, the vegetation cover condition, the tree condition. This becomes very, very important.
So what are the studies you've done in Japan, like landslide? How can it be applied here? Like any ideas?
You see, for landslide risk reduction, there are 2 or 3 very important points. First is that the scientific group, they make the landslide hazard map, like which area is more prone to landslide, which are people should leave, people should not leave, or some areas there are like people should be leaving because we can't vacate every place, right? So people should be leaving, but they should be leaving with a cautious time. So we call the red zone, yellow zone, and the green zone. Red zone we should not leave. Yellow zone people should leave with a cautious, and the green zone is the normal one. So first is to understand that particular thing. Then another very important point is the monitoring of the earth movement. So we have the sensors usually, because landslide before this main movement, there are a little bit of small changes which happen, and that can actually, if we can capture that one, that gives the early warning system. So that is very important to make that sensor thing. And the final and the most important is the role of the media to bring that information to the people.
But being a hilly terrain, like most of the area here are landslide prone. So how do you overcome that?
You see, Japan also 75% of Japan's land is on the mountain. Only 25% is the plain land. And within that 75% people are living. So mountain does not mean that we will not live there. Means people, their lifestyle, their culture, their tradition, their food habit, all are rooted very much in the mountain. But not all the mountains are very, very prone to the landslide. It very much depends on which type of rocks we have. And another very major problem what we are seeing now, like there are lots of construction in different places. These mountains are getting more crowded, and we have started living in the place where we are not supposed to live. That creates the problem. If you see that most of the old settlements, they are located in a very safe place. But maybe the new settlements which are coming up, those becomes more landslide prone.
Have you noticed anything like the place you are in right now? Like what can be done here?
Actually, I am coming back to Darjeeling after a long time, after more than 40 years. Actually, I came back as a small child, but I work very closely in Uttarakhand. And as you know that Uttarakhand also have the similar type of topography. I also work very closely in Nepal. I have many students from Nepal as well as from Uttarakhand, and they are actually again like these hills are becoming like over tourism, like many people actually come. Well, that is maybe good for the local economy, but in the longer run we need to have the balance of the resource utilization. So how we can actually make a proper management system for the balanced approach of how much tourists will come, how much resources will be used. Water becomes like the mini problem actually. It's not related to landslide, but the water scarcity in hills become a major problem in many places. Uttarakhand is also facing the same problem. And I was told that Darjeeling has also quite a bit of water crisis, which was not there maybe previously. So there are many this type of different issues which has lots of management challenges. We need to be possibly more sensitive to this type of regulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And organize this seminar on disaster communication. Our sincere thanks to Dr. Sonada, who has been the backbone of this program for last 1 or 2 months we have been in touch with, and he has been talking to us. And in a very special way, our thanks to Dr. Rajiv Shah, the director of Kyoto University, Japan, all the way from there to talk to us today. And disaster communication is a new concept in one way to us in terms of the terminology itself. And to talk about what defines disaster, it is another way of looking at this. But we being in the Himalayas and the vulnerable areas, especially during this monsoon, it is so appropriate that we hold this seminar. And unfortunately, we could not have all the students who are writing their exams now. But we thought who would be the stakeholders who would benefit from this seminar. And the first ones that come to mind is our own media personals who have been covering the news, who have been highlighting the importance of ecological conservation in Darjeeling. Besides them, a number of NGO workers who have been part and backbone of the entire environmental movement in Darjeeling, and a lot of NGOs who work with environmental related awareness programs, disasters everywhere, and our own Darjeeling municipality, and a lot of people who are involved in this. And it's a great honor to be part of this. Without wasting much of the time, we move into the program. And once again, thank you for making time to be part of this, the entire Darjeeling Press Guild, all the NGOs who are working in the Darjeeling municipality. And on behalf of our principal of St. Joseph's College, on behalf of Mass Communication Department, on behalf of all of our students and the staff, we warmly welcome you to this small little seminar on disaster communication. Thank you so much.
मनोरञ्जनमूलक भिडियो साथै वरिपरिका खबर हेर्नका निम्ति यस च्यानललाई सब्स्क्राइब गर्न नभुल्नुहोला।
Good afternoon to all our guests, our esteemed guests, and all our invitees here. Today we are here for the seminar on disaster communication, which is organized by St. Joseph's College, Darjeeling, in collaboration with India-Japan Laboratory, Kyoto University, Japan, and Center for Media Research and Development Studies. With this, I would like to request our Father Productions, Director of Self-Finance Courses, to offer a short prayer before we begin our program.
We are making construction in the places where we are not supposed to do. So that's why these natural hazards and natural disasters
Before we move on to the release of the book, I would like to request Komal ma'am to offer khada to Dr. Professor Rajiv. For the welcome address, I would like to call upon once again Father Prakash to address the show for taking this opportunity to inaugurate the Department of Mass Communication and Journalism in St. Joseph's College and honoring us with the release of your guidebook. Thank you. Now I'd like the guests to
मनोरञ्जनमूलक भिडियो साथै वरिपरिका खबर हेर्नका निम्ति यस च्यानललाई सब्स्क्राइब गर्न नभुल्नुहोला।